as far as the rest of them did. What I did was I intimidated a lot of people.
Welcome to Lima Studios. Today is November 17th, maybe 18th, somewhere around there. We are live, baby. Lima Studios, episode 39. The Hustler Rip Rogers, Wrestling with Rip Rogers. I'm on fire today, baby. How you feeling, Rip?
You got new microphones, new technological shit. I got my coffee, I got my Coke, I got my mini muffins.
So swole that I can't get the shit closed.
Right
so
here,
I money fold and rubber band wrap. And when it pop,
go to Amazon right now, hit the book on Pro
We faded out our stuff. We haven't done our head bob. I haven't faded out our music. We haven't done any of that. And you're already plugging stuff. I mean, what is going on today?
Well, you just tell me about Chili's daughter. Did you show me a video of her knocking some girl in her ass? And Chili thought she was over. How tall she is? She's about what? 6 foot tall?
6'12".
No, Chili's 6'12". The daughter's not. She's 6 foot.
Now
right?
listen, I got all this new stuff, right?
Okay.
So I got this new microphone. These are the microphones that you really have to talk into. They don't pick up a lot.
Well, hell, the other ones didn't. Oh,
you gotta,
wait a minute. The other ones didn't pick up. Then you got new ones. You get ones that they don't work either.
These work, but these are called dynamic microphones. We have to talk right into them. So if you need to, pick the damn thing up and just pull it back to you or whatever. But it's not going to work. You sit back here and you're real quiet and whisper and all that kind of stuff. You got to be on it, Rip. You got to be up on the microphone. Just pretend, pretend.
Pretend what?
Pretend. Get that up close to your mouth. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Pretend.
You don't really have to pretend. Just.
Oh, you remind me of the old girl I used to have in. She was in some big contests and she was on steroids, and her part of her body downstairs with her was bigger than mine because she was on steroids. You had to be.
Yeah, I get it, Rip. I get it, Rip. So we're looking at this camera now too. I know. I'm always in the habit of looking at the monitor.
Yeah.
Look at that. I got a new webcam.
Okay,
we're on that webcam.
Oh, we can have.
Might make it a little bit better. Look at the ring. I think that's all faded up there. Look at the rope. The color doesn't it look a lot better on those ropes?
I can't see that.
So I got a new soundboard. I got new microphones.
I got a new shirt.
I got a new webcam. We're on fire today, baby. Lila Studios.
You got a new girlfriend? Or
no,
the same old one?
I don't have a girlfriend, Rip. I'm married. I'm a one-woman man. In case my wife watches the show here, I'm a one-woman man.
A one-woman man.
That's right. All the money that I made, my wife made me work. I was off this week. Fortunately for me, I didn't have to work this week really too much, just a day or two. But with all that money I made working, it's a hell of a thing, man. When you work, you make money, then you can buy shit. It's crazy. I never really understood that concept.
Well, I don't buy nothing. So don't work, don't buy nothing, don't have no money. What the hell, right?
I think you
got that picture over there of the Seymour Punks of me, you, and Lucky.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up here in a second.
Rod Steele. I don't get any better than that.
This is like week 5 of StreamYard that we've been recording on StreamYard. Shout out to StreamYard. And I think, Rip, this is the week that I finally figured it out.
Figure what out?
Technology. I'm going to be able to pull that picture up on our show here in just a few minutes. Remember, I tried this like the last 3 weeks, and every time I tried it, doesn't work. Today's the day. Are you look, there's a line right
where?
there.
I can't see it.
Rip right down the line, man.
You're just trying to impress everybody with your grip strength.
It.
I can't even see
my daughters can open mini muffins.
Well, they can see the line. I can't see the line. Leave my microphone alone. You're always handling my microphone with your hand like you're grabbing something.
I don't know if you said this or not, but like, subscribe, Wrestling with the Rip Rogers on YouTube.
And
smash that like button, all that good stuff. Go watch our stuff. We starting to get up. Hey, go to the Join Now. Subscriptions, $1.99, I think it is. Join now. Click on it. We're going to go live today at noon. I know this will be out after and Rip, blah, blah, blah. Why do you say it? Yeah. Live at noon, almost every Friday.
What's this on?
I'll put this out on Monday.
Oh, so it's not live. I thought we did the live one.
No, we never do the live one first. We never have.
Okay.
You have to pee already?
No.
What? You already have to pee?
There's a hole in my pants.
My goodness. Like a little kid, man. So,
little thing about that little hole.
Go subscribe. Join $1.99. We're going to have some, I think, good guests on today again at the live, maybe if they show up. Either or, eventually we're getting so big, Rip. You're going to have to be a joiner, a subscriber, a member. That's what it's called. Not a subscriber, but a member to join us on the Q&A. I think that's the route we're going.
What about Don and Buckshot?
What about them? They need to start paying $1.99. That's who I'm talking about. Man.
Oh, okay.
Opinion Haver already does pay $1.99. We got a few people out there that pay
it's Opinion Haver. We can't say it's Opinion Haver forever though.
We're not going to change it now.
That's the vet, Opinion Haver.
Are you? You can't change it now. What you got going on, Rip? What's been happening, man? It's been a week since seen you.
You asked me a question as soon as I put a muffin in my mouth.
I don't understand why you eat during this show anyway. That's not really, we're
doing a gimmick.
We're doing a show.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell people you're doing a gimmick.
It was Bob Barkley. He always had the skinny microphone.
Oh, that was awesome.
That long, skinny microphone.
No, it wasn't just him. Remember the show, the Joker's Wild, I think it was called?
Anyway.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That guy had a skinny mic, too.
He was just talking.
You think so?
Yeah. He was on there so long. You used to watch Jeopardy?
Did I used to watch it?
Yeah.
It's still on. I could still watch it.
Okay, do you still watch it?
No.
Okay, then why do you bring it?
I used to, though.
Who was the head Rockette? Who was the head man there?
Alex Trebek.
Before Art Fleming was for Alex Trebek.
I wasn't born in this.
Well, you should know that shit anyway.
So there was somebody before Alex Trebek?
What was Dizzy Dean's real name?
Harold?
Well, he said it was either Jerome Herman or Jay Hannity.
So it's like, is this a multiple choice question you're asking me right now?
No, they always had what his real name. Some would have on some cards and stuff. It'd say Jerome Herman Dean, and some would say Jay Hannity.
Well, what was it?
I don't know. I was just asking to see if you know, but you didn't know because it was. This was before you were born, so you wouldn't know.
Well, I could still know. I know things before I was born. I know who's in the Beatles, I think. So that was before.
Who was the original Beatles?
The original four. The Fab Four?
Oh,
no. It was the one before Paul McCartney that died or something?
Oh, you don't know that.
I just said that.
No, I'm going to have to make you look it up.
I think there was one before Paul McCartney. I just said that.
What was Ringo Starr's real name?
Johnny. Everybody's real name's Johnny.
Richard Starr.
I think this picture's up. I think. It looks like it's up.
It looks like it's on the computer thing. You said we didn't have no more.
Oh, what do you mean we don't have no more? It's up right there. All right, so if this is really up like it looks like it is, I think we finally figured it out. I wish I didn't have all this border and stuff on here. But anyway, it is a picture at least. Got a little thing on it. Not sure about that. Who do we have here, Rip? This picture up.
A picture of me, you, Lucky Scanlon, and the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Rod Steele.
Well, what were we called?
Seymour Punk.
One of the greatest factions probably in wrestling history.
Manny the Weasel Valverde.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
He wasn't there.
Where's T Weasel?
Well, he's probably out doing his Weasel.
Yeah, I wonder why he wasn't in this picture. You know where this was? It looks like the Armory, but I don't. Would we have been at the Armory? Oh, yes, that's the night of the Battle Royal. That's the night they beat the shit out of me. And you let me in the Battle Royal. That is the Armory in Seymour. It was the first time I was ever in the ring.
They beat
ever.
The shit out of you?
Yeah, they killed me.
That's what they needed to do.
We need to get that. I need to find that video.
You don't think I did that to them, did you? Oh, my God. I remember I was working. We had the big show in Seymour. The last time we did 1,000 people there, and they had the blizzard that night. So a carload didn't get over from the bridge in Louisville. So I worked with Steelman, and I just beat the shit out of me. And the people was going like, ooh, yeah.
I was there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there.
And then me and him was a tag team later on. because who didn't show up? Fez and Dundee and Dutch Mantel. But the guys couldn't get across the bridge and close the bridge.
Yeah. It's kind of odd that when I pull up the Seymour Punk picture to talk about the picture, you go off on another story.
Well, you started talking about that was in Seymour in the Battle Royal, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I started talking about Seymour then. All you do is bitch and complain.
I'll just take it off there.
Yeah, take it off.
I mean, if you can't do this right, I'm not even going
to
pull up
Wait a minute, we
pictures.
got no prep. I was done right. If we didn't practice nothing, or you didn't ask us to go to school.
We always have what's that called? A walkthrough. We always have a.
No, we have a crawl through.
What's that called? Like when you do the pre-show, pre-show? What's that called?
A pre-show for what?
When you walk through a show, like a rehearsal. We always have
what?
rehearsal. Shows. They do rehearsals.
For what?
Any show in America, ESPN, whatever. They do like rehearsals or read-throughs or preps or whatever you call it.
Hell no.
We do that every week here, Rip. Don't try to act like we don't prepare for all this stuff.
You asked me earlier, did I hang for the show? You said, I ain't got none. I said, well, give me a piece of paper. I started writing shit down.
So that night, this picture I just had nicely on the computer now.
But it's not now because you took it off because you got your big ego.
I show up at the Armory. My brother was there. Chili was there.
6'12".
King, Carl, and my mom were not there. I show up out there. I got my Seymour Punk gear
Where was
on.
the King at?
Home? Seymour?
What was he doing?
Sitting on the couch, probably. I don't know.
What? And this is your first night in the ring. Did you know you was going to be in the ring?
No, I didn't know I was going to be in the ring.
Oh. Well, who put you
that's
in there?
the story I'm telling right now.
Okay. Tell it then.
I'd been doing some Seymour Punk stuff down at OVW. That's why I wore my brother's football jersey. That was my little gimmick. I had some like work boots on or something. I show up at the Armory. I think I kind of asked you, if I could get in a battle royal or something. Kind of secretly hoping that I wasn't really going to be in it.
Oh.
Kind of wanted to, kind of didn't. And then you just came over and you're like, you want in the battle royal tonight? I'm like, yes. I couldn't say no. You're like, all right, you're in.
So I said, well, why the hell did you ask me?
You're like, all right, you're in. I was like, holy shit. I'd never been in the ring before. No training. I guess I'd stepped in a ring, but never.
Oh, sort of like me when I got in the wrestling business.
Yeah, exactly. And I just remember I went over because I'd never been over the top rope. And it was the battle royal, top rope elimination. So I went over the steel man. I was like, never been over the top rope. You think you could?
No, steel man. Okay, so I'm steel man. So ask me.
Hey, steel man. I've never been over the top rope. You think that you could help me, throw me out? Help me do this?
I don't know. We'll see, kid.
Steel man said, "Don't worry, kid. I'll take care of you out there."
Sounds like I told him.
And then I said that somebody else. They're like, "Oh, you don't know what that means, do you?" And I was like, "Oh shit."
What? I can't see the line. Don't tell me about your daughters, how they could rip.
They can. That was the night Ducci did not want to get thrown out. They all tried to throw him out, and then he was like half-ass shooting on him. Don't you remember that? No. Like Jason Lee and Trash and all Lucky and all of them.
They just kicked him in the balls real hard.
Well, he was doing everything he could to stay in the ring. I was like, somebody throw me out, please. I'm about ready to jump out of here.
Because you're getting over.
Are you eating another pack of muffins? I thought you were on like kind of a diet thing.
I didn't ask you to think.
Kind of a diet thing, or
kind of.
No?
Kind of. Very little time. Well, I ran out of food at home.
Have you been watching any wrestling, Rip?
Oh my God, I watch so much wrestling.
Oh yeah, what you been watching?
Some of my old wrestling right here.
Oh,
you mean watching today's wrestling?
Today's wrestling.
Oh my God, you think I was sick, ill, dead, all the above?
How about the last Austin Idol? Talk about the steel cage. Talk about the Idol promo, the emotion, and what a steel cage meant back then compared to what it is right now.
Oh, well, first of all, steel cage today is a joke. Because the winner is the guy that runs away. That's the Honorable Vince Kennedy McMahon. That's his big idea. Nationwide, worldwide, they're using him like that. Because he wants to see his heels get beat.
I don't really get that. Why?
Okay, before
can't they lose anyway? Like if the other guy gets out first?
Yeah. You don't have matches like that. Steel cage, no. You get pinned. You get pinned. The cage is there so you can't get away.
Right.
They keep you in there.
You think that's really why?
Yeah.
Then why just put them in? Why even have one? Like
because it draws money. That's why.
Let me get this straight. You're saying he wanted to have a cage match, but he didn't want his heel to ever lose in it. Why didn't you just have him win?
He didn't want his heel being pinned because in the old WWF and starting out in WWE, when they first do it big time, you'd come in, you'd get over, you'd kill people. You'd get your 3 shots with Bruno. Finally, the last match with fucking Bruno, like he's in Madison Square Garden or whatever, you'd finally lose. Then once you lose, you'd either then work the next 3 or 4 months, putting the guy's semi-main event guy over, blah, 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 or just had a picture of my dad. Yeah, it's my dad. That was a picture of him.
I thought it was like John Mellencamp. That's from Crossroads Gym.
Well, that was because my dad worked there, right? He had all this pictures and stuff.
Holy shit.
The glass thing. That's when he was like 17 years old.
You care if I pull it up there in a minute?
Yeah, pull it up there.
So you're done with the steel cage match now?
Well, anyway,
See, obviously we prepped for this.
Yeah. All of a sudden, my dad's picture. What are you doing with my dad's picture?
I thought it was like John Mellencamp.
No, it wasn't John Mellencamp.
Holy shit.
But anyway, on the cage, right? If you was the big top heel, then all of a sudden they see you getting beat. Where the guy beats, where Bruno beats you. You think it's going to draw with him in the title match? No.
I don't know. I just think it's pretty stupid, though, that
a lot of things in wrestling is stupid. Can you really throw a guy to the rope?
I know. You don't think it's dumb to have a
I do, but
steel cage match and you try to escape the cage?
Well, that's what it's all about. Vince says, no, you got a cage match. You're going to fucking draw. You'll give him some kind of violence. But then you won't. If you were the top heel, the champion wouldn't pin you. But you crawl out. The rules are to get through the door or crawl over the top, one or the other. Yeah. So whoever runs away is the winner. Yay, run away, run away, run away.
Yeah, I just think it's so dumb.
Well, it is dumb, but if it did a sellout or whatever, it was great, wasn't it?
Here we go, Rip. This was my lead-in here. What's this a picture of besides me?
That's all I can see.
Oh, you can see? You can't see the big...
I see a bull. That was a Crossroads Gym, but the bull's like backwards because it's a mirror image.
So because the bull is backwards, you don't think it's really Crossroads Gym anymore?
What it was, I couldn't think where it was at for about 30 seconds.
So that's Crossroads Gym. Remember, we were talking Seymour, Indiana, so I wanted to pull that up. Crossroads Gym, the legendary Crossroads Gym. Rip Rogers trained there. Lucky Sandlin trained there. Steelman trained there.
I trained Steelman and Lucky on the floor there at 6 a.m.
For wrestling.
Yeah.
I was talking training, like working out. Okay, but yeah, you actually...
I'm talking about there would be no mat, no padding, no nothing. I just teach them how to work and just slam on the cement and everything.
That's wild.
Then all of a sudden they got in the ring. Hey, this still hurt his back. I don't know shit.
T. Weasley used to work out there too, you know?
No, he made me feel it.
You think he still works out?
My God, look at it. That was there's a picture of my dad again.
All right, I'm going to pull him up here. So I took a bunch of pictures. I found on my phone. Now, I know at Crossroads they had a bunch of pictures of you up. I don't know why none of them are in my phone. But I did come across this picture. I thought it was like a picture of John Mellencamp.
That's my dad. He's like a junior in high school.
Oh, there it is. Junior in high school. So he worked at Crossroads Gym?
I worked there for years in the morning.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you started working there, right? You worked there eventually.
I worked there before him.
Before him?
Yeah. Years before.
I remember that now.
Okay. You come in.
That's right. So that would have been like when I was like in high school or college.
Yeah.
I was thinking when you said he worked there, I was thinking you meant like when you were a kid.
No.
I do remember him working there now. Holy shit.
Yeah, because John didn't want to be in there.
Yeah, I remember your dad. I'd go in there. I remember your dad be like vacuuming and stuff, cleaning up. Forgot all about that. Wow, that's wild. Forgot all about that, Rip. What's that tanning bed that you used to have?
Oh, I went in the tanning bed for 20 minutes every day. It's like got blotches over me in my age spot. Pop up 20 years later.
Did you pay for it?
Oh, hell no, I worked there. And I That's where you give yourself a wank in there.
I remember you used to tell me that, and then I would never want to go in there and be like, man, not sure.
When you go in there and you didn't want to put a sock over your worm, if not, you get the Sunbird saucer.
That's what I would do. I would always put a sock, man. The tanning beds even exist anymore?
I don't have a clue.
I used to go all the time. I remember high school basketball. I'd always go to the tanning bed.
You had to look good, right?
Always. They had those little stickers. I don't know if they didn't have them at Crossroads, but you could get little stickers. You put them on you, so everything in tan, and then whatever the sticker was, that would be left. Always down here, put a little Playboy bunny. I thought that was hot. I thought the chicks loved that. Junior, high school, senior, high school.
Chicks love that.
Oh, I think so, yeah. I think my mom watches this show.
Did you have a girlfriend?
There would be no chicks ever would see it when I was a junior in high school. I'm sorry. Yeah,
you're too busy being tall and skinny.
Yeah.
And moving 100 miles an hour playing basketball.
Yeah, what am I talking about? None of that was true that I just said. Yeah. Huh.
You just went into my mind right now when you were talking about that.
What's that?
I was thinking of Raymond.
Why?
I don't know. It just did. Raymond.
Ooh.
He was like the Raymond.
Questionable there, Rip. Legend of what? Gambling?
He was just over with me.
Yeah.
It was easy to get over with me. The King was over with. All the King did was shake his head.
What's the chances of Manny the Weasel Valverde joining our live show today?
Well, he's probably at the library right now using their computer stuff because he was. Did I call him and put him on live?
No, hell no.
Huh?
This is going to be. You understand when I'm doing stuff? People can't see it, right? We're supposed to just keep having our show.
But anyway,
while I'm pulling this up, like this shouldn't really affect our show. This isn't a pause in the act.
No,
this is I'm multitasking.
Well, that's okay. You're doing stuff, and you're talking. You're getting people. You're talking about your thing, your whatever you had on your tanning bed. Tanning. I look for it. Dr. David McDougal, Van Mason, Mark Henry, was
this is a time killer right
there. Man, there's Manny. There's two of them on Manny. Let's see if I get the right one. Let's try this one.
Why don't you put last names in there?
Because there's only how many Mannys are there?
Well, apparently two.
Let's see if we heard anything or if we get the right Weasel there. Weasel, is that you? You're on our podcast. Just talking. Where are you at? The library? Oh, well, I would say I'm sorry, but I'm scared. Oh, my. Well, there wasn't no money in it. You probably had about 20.
I was going to say I lost a family member or something.
Yeah,
I lost my wallet.
We lost his wallet. That's what Tappy, Classy Tappy said too about Weasel.
Weasel, we're getting you married to Classy Chappie. It's going to be the greatest wedding ever. It's going to happen right here in Lila Studios. It's going to be awesome. Live, baby, on YouTube.
Don't get any better than that. Well, let's wish. Hey, Manny, where's your big podcast? I keep waiting.
Yeah.
To see. Yeah, you told us.
Yeah, you already told us that. We asked about the podcast.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Manny the Weasel, his podcast right now is still all bullshit.
Working on entrance music.
He's waiting on entrance music. He lost his billfold, but he's still.
Hey, you need to find that wallet so you can pay for this wedding. Did you hear me? Find your wallet so you can pay for this wedding.
All right, okay. We'll be talking at you, Weasel.
Working on entrance music this morning. Intro music. It's going to be the greatest ever there, Rip. So all this stuff I do, like most shows have like somebody doing all this for them and then it's popping up on the screen. Like you don't see McAfee sitting there working, doing all this stuff. He's got somebody in the back. Every time they pull up like an NFL video or any video, somebody's doing it for him. Okay.
Oh, man, he's not going to call back.
Well, of course he is. I mean, are you going to answer it? We are doing a show right now.
No, I just hung up.
Oh, this is the greatest show we've ever done. Episode 39, ladies and gentlemen. It don't get no better than that. Watch this, Rip.
What is it?
This is me in New York City. Well, that's not me, but
why did you say it was
you? It's going to be me. This is when I did that video, that rap video. It'll be coming out soon.
Oh.
It'll be out before Weasel's podcast.
Is that you?
That's me. That was me in the wig. Look at that green room. So the band that does our intro song that you don't like, this is one of their videos I was doing. This is one of the singers. It's all old Starcade is what they're called. It's old NWA shit. Look at that microphone. You see the microphone?
Yeah, I had the Bob Barker microphone.
Watch this. It's all based on old school. This is the intro to their video, their song or whatever. Just hold on.
That guy kicks like Von Lila. You hit him with a right-handed punch.
I just did. Here. God, Rip, come on.
Cuss word. Well,
you cuss all you want, but you can't say that. I got to go find that and edit it.
No, you won't.
I have to. They never seen anything. That's the director. I ended up doing the whole thing. I had a bunch of stupid shit. He goes, "You gonna pee on him? Anything too?" He had no idea what he was gonna do to it.
All right.
That was the greatest ever. So
here I wrote a plethora of notes right here.
I think it's called plethora, isn't it?
Whatever. I make my own words up.
Would you say plethora?
And all of a sudden, you Bogart and you show me a thing of you doing this.
Would you say plethora?
Whatever. Oh my God! Look at them ugly bitches.
Plethora. They're all. Now hold on. They're all.
What?
I got to get it up here.
They're all.
They've all got face paint of different wrestlers. It's like,
great.
I don't know, who is it? Muda, Demolition. Who else is up there?
Everybody would know that.
They go to a wrestling audience. They're called Starcade. Everything they do is based on wrestling. Yeah, everybody that knows wrestling does know it.
Oh, right.
Oh, whatever, Rip. If this was one of your buddies, you would think this was the greatest thing ever. These are the guys that took you out to dinner, paid you money to sit there and talk to you, bought you Mexican, and now you're going to shit on their stuff.
They need to do it again.
Yeah. They're not going to do it again with that kind of attitude.
Well, I can always go on it. I don't need to eat nothing.
I'll tell you what.
Where's my disco music? What happened to the disco music I had on there?
All right, my shit's done. Go ahead. You got 30 minutes now. I'm done with my stuff.
30 minutes?
Yeah. I went 30. Now it's your turn to go 30.
I don't see 30.
28:53. Close enough.
I'll make it 32 or whatever. Good. Hey, now that he's going to shut up, the man who wants, all of a sudden, he puts a video up of him beating up a guy. And I said, that looks like Von Lila because he hit him with a right hand and he's left-handed.
I throw a right-handed punch. Hey, go ahead.
And you had it wasn't even your hair.
I know it was an '80s like mullet wig. That's the whole thing. That's what it's all based on.
Why did you hit the guy from behind? You were a bully.
I was a bad guy. That's how it's supposed to be done. I'm not a cool bad guy. I'm a real bad guy. I want heat. I want to get somebody from behind.
You want to be a cool bad guy because you was acting cool. Because when Hulk Hogan tried to get in the dressing room, what'd you do?
On your paper. Is this on your paper?
Is this thing on?
Tampa, go. Atlanta, go.
No, what I was going to do, I was going to talk about like a little story for each
you mean I'll lead into it?
Okay, that's cool.
All right, we're here with the Hustle Rip Rogers, the legend himself, Rip. I got a couple questions for you here.
Okay.
Maybe if I just go through some different territories, you think you could hit on a nice little cool story?
Yeah, we could be talking about rats in each territory, each pitches, what each one was their specialty was, who they did, who they didn't do.
Yeah, whatever you want to throw in there. How about Tampa, Rip? You got anything for us with Tampa?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm in Tampa now. The reason I'm in Tampa because Crockett come in and brought in from Old. So since I was at blonde hair, I was out of there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So Wahoo called me up. Hey, you want to come work down here? I said, hell, yes, Chief. Because I was over with Chief. I used to go pick him up at the airport and fly in and work for Ole.
Mm-hmm.
So then he called me and said if I wanted a goddamn job. I went down there and you know how they always say, oh, these guys that are in WWE now because they worked at Memphis. You ever hear that? They worked at every territory. When I walked in there, Billy Jack was there. He worked for WWE. Rick Rude was there. He worked for WWE. Percy was there, who became Paul Bear. Brian Blair was there, who's him and Jim Brunzell were the
Killer Bees.
The Killer Bees. But no matter what territory you'd go to, you see half the guys that had been in there, they were all ended up working for WWE.
Could it be the reason they say that? Wasn't Memphis kind of used as developmental almost there for a minute?
Yeah, but Atlanta was in developmental.
Yeah.
Cincinnati was in developmental. They had a whole bunch of developmental at one time.
Hey, speaking of Atlanta, Rip, hey, how about a story with Atlanta and Ole and a whole bunch of stuff? Anything for Atlanta for it?
Well, it's like remember when it was called Black Saturday or whatever it was?
Great
all
lead
of a sudden, yeah, that's when Barnett sold his points. The Briscoe brothers sold theirs.
I thought you were talking about like the Thanksgiving shopping day, like Friday. That's not what you're talking about.
Black Saturday.
Oh, okay.
That's when all of a sudden Vince, instead of seeing Gordon Soley on World Championship Wrestling, all of a sudden it opens up and Vince McMahon's there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
I've
what
never
happened.
seen that.
Right. Well, this was 1984. How old would you have been?
11.
11. Okay. Well, you should have been watching it.
I know, but there's YouTube. I've never seen it like pop up on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Probably somebody owns the content.
Probably. I wonder if it's out there somewhere.
Or they'll get zinged. But you opened up the World Championship Wrestling, which you're waiting to see at 6:05 on every Saturday night, and there was Vince McMahon, who's the owner of the WWF at that time. But instead of having studio wrestling like they usually do, he had clips from different matches all over the country. I mean, people was mad because they wanted to see their Gordon Soley.
Yeah.
They wanted to see their Freddie Miller running through the Chiron and saying, be there, for the shows and stuff. And they liked that live studio audience where they had 200 people crammed in there from the bleachers, which you could hardly see. It was a tradition for years and years and years. So Ole got kicked off. So what happened was Vince ended up buying the rest of his points. Ole opened up and went right back to PBS, and they put us a TV show that we did in the morning. And when I was there, let's see, it was
so we went right back at Vince, basically.
Yeah. Well, Ole was still on there, but in the long run, Ole ended up spending all the money he got from it because that time slot wasn't over. He still had regular markets all over the fucking country, but he had good talent. Like Ronnie Garvin was there. Ed DiBiase was there. Of course, he brought me in.
Of course, you were there.
Yeah,
top talent, all the top stars. Rick Rogers.
Yeah, Wildfire Tommy Rich was on fire there, and Ole kept running. But it's like Atlanta years ago was you'd run the Georgia towns. It'd be like you'd run Atlanta either at the Omni or Marietta, and you'd run Macon, Columbus, and Albany every week, and you'd have some spot shows. Then the next week, you go on tour. You might be working like Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Akron, Washington, D.C., Cincinnati, Dayton, Charleston, Huntington, West Virginia, Canton, Pittsburgh, a lot of the Detroit, Michigan towns, Detroit, Muskegon, etc., like that. So you'd be basically in the Atlanta territory locally for a week, and you go up on tour for a week, and you come back and do two TV tapings in Atlanta. I'm keeping my notes right here. You're trying to take my notes and try and make me fumble, and fall.
I'm writing down a question.
Okay, then write the question.
So you're reading
down.
So you're reading a script right now.
I'm not reading a script. I got my notes.
Look, you're getting hot too right now.
Huh? Well, I'm getting hot because you're sitting next to me with your big, all your
I don't need a script. I can do this on the fly, baby.
Okay, do it on the fly.
I just was trying not to interrupt. I didn't want to forget my questions that I had.
Did you forget it or what?
Maybe. So when Vince came on, I've never heard that story. I don't think you've ever.
I don't think I have.
Told the story that Vince showed up on TV that day. Did he announce? I know you said that you just showed clips from around the world, but did he make an announcement when he came on? Did he make an announcement like, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Gordon Solie is not going to be here anymore. This is what we're doing."
Pretty much, yeah. So we just took over, whatever, blah blah blah. What happened was, Ole got Barnett out of power sort of, and Ole had controlling interest. So then Barnett convinced a lot of people, because the WWE was going to give him a job. Barnett, that the Briscoe brothers, they sold their points, and when they sold their points, then and Barnett was his, they had controlling interest. So then they sold it to Vince McMahon. And then Coach Briscoe and his brother, they had like lifetime jobs if they wanted them pretty much with WWE. So Coach Briscoe, he was one of the stooges on WWE years ago. And then he's on, he got his own podcast now with JBL, whatever. That asshole calling me out.
Well, you called him first.
Well,
I calling a girl and then get mad when she calls you back all the time.
I'll just sit here in silence for the next 28 minutes.
Why?
Huh?
What's that mean? Why? You called him. I didn't call him.
And I've hung up on him twice to get the fucking message. God damn. What's that? He's running my thing about all this.
So funny enough, I just pulled up a tape of you and Tommy Rich's feud started.
Right. Okay.
So that was, but Gordon Solie was the announcer.
Right.
Was that Ole then?
Yeah, that was Ole.
I just wonder. So
that was when it was called Championship Wrestling from Georgia.
Yeah. So did you think WWE owns that stuff?
I don't know. They wouldn't have.
You don't think they bought that library? God, I'm going to try to put that on YouTube then. I got a bunch of it pulled up or burned it. It's you and Tommy Rich just starting the feud, and you had a bunch of like the studio fights and pull apart so far and that kind of stuff. You went after some guy that was on crutches. I can't remember.
Oh, that was Ron Ritchie. He had he hurt his knee and had to have a knee operation.
And then Tommy Rich came to his aid or whatever, and then you guys started.
Came to the aid. Yeah, I remember when Crockett bought it from Vince. So they started running it. When he bought it, when he bought in and bought Ole out, Ole stayed with the Horsemen. I had 6 weeks of loser league counts against Tommy Rich.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So why did Vince sell?
Why did he sell?
Yeah.
Because the people, he had enough exposure the way it was. And now this is just perfect. What I was thinking, the people at the studio, when they had him in there in Ole's spot, they were used to having the live wrestling, tape wrestling, or whatever there at the studio.
Yeah.
And Vince, he was just going to put on tapes from around the world. And if you're used to Gordon Solie and Freddie Miller and live wrestling for years and years and years, all of a sudden you make a change. You know how wrestling fans are.
Yeah, so
like any sports fan, they want to.
So they shit on him.
They shit on him completely, and especially when Atlanta wrestling was Southern style wrestling, more fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
It was wild wrestling. That was. Then the uppities from the WWE had the world. They worked the northern style. It was completely different.
So then how did it end up WCW? Is that Turner then that came in and bought it from Crockett? Or who did he buy it? Did he?
Crockett ended up buying it from, I guess, Vince or studio, or he took over, whatever. And then when they was going out of business. And let's see. Yeah, then WCW, they took over. That's when they had Ole was boss there, and Watts was boss, and they started hiring Jim Hurd and another guy, Kip Fry, who was a lawyer or something else. I remember saying, Kip was on TV, said, "Oh, I saw myself on TV," and I'm just shaking my head. I'm going, what a mark. Jesus Christ. Right? So they had non-wrestling people, like Pizza. Hurd was a guy from Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
No one management, but he's the guy that brought the bingo. All of a sudden, he thought he knew wrestling, but whatever he said, it went. So that's when Ole sort of got himself fired so he could go down and teach wrestling at the power plant, not have to go to the office and babysit Hurd. Such is life, right?
So did you ever meet Ted Turner any of that time?
Yeah. One night we were doing promos. We would do 2 tapes on every other Wednesday night in Atlanta there at the Superstation. And Ted Turner come in. He was drunk.
Are you serious?
And he had Raquel Welch with him. And the reason Ox Baker was cutting a promo. And Raquel Welch wanted to meet Foxy Ox.
Are you serious?
That is awesome. Yes. So here comes Ted. He's drunk. In with Raquel Welch. We're going, damn, there's Raquel Welch, right? And then, Ox going, what do you want, woman? You know. It was funnier than hell. So Ted was talking about, you guys are doing a good job. And he was hiccuping and a little bit drunk.
So was he really a wrestling fan? Why did he ever buy it? Was it like an investment for him, or was he really a wrestling guy? Do you have any idea?
He took that regular station, made it a Superstation.
Yeah.
And when it was a Superstation, probably his most consistent, high-rated program was the wrestling, because he would have old Leave It to Beavers on there, old Lone Ranger, Superman, Gomer Pyle, like all 30-minute shows. Then have the movie of the week on, but wrestling was his big thing.
I know, but I know that for the network, but was it because he personally liked it, or just something that had ratings?
Well, no matter what it is, if you got ratings, you like it. If you're the owner. Right?
Well,
so that was it. So Ted come in to see everybody. Tell us what a great job we were doing.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's great. God, I was just going to ask something.
And Raquel Welch, she was real little too.
Oh yeah.
We thought she's like 5'2" or whatever. Then standing next to Ox when he was younger. Ox was a big guy.
Yeah.
But Ox was over.
We're just going to ask something. No idea. What I did forget though, Rip, we have at least an email or two. So I know you got a list there.
Yeah, I got
save some of that for the live show here, maybe. Or here at the end. Sorry I took so much time from you in the beginning, man. I apologize for that, Rip. You accept my apology?
I accept it. Whatever you said, yeah.
The good thing about all that stuff you just went through, if you missed something, maybe Greg Smith will be there to clean it up.
He probably will.
He will let us know if
Or Dux can tell us what we did wrong, but he wouldn't have been there.
All right, this is from Bill Walkowitz. Man, Ice Trade tapes, few people tapes, Central State, blah blah blah. Favorite memories where you feuded with Ox Baker. I mean, you. I didn't have too many feuds with Ox Baker. We had the AWA and the Bruisers WWA out of Indiana on TV in Chicago. I grew up watching Baker. Can you give any memories of that feud? I'd love to hear your insight when it came to the feud with Ox Baker.
Okay. I'd worked 4 weeks in a row with Bruiser Brody in Kansas City.
At Central State?
Yeah, I was Central State. And then Brody was a star. He worked his own style. But then I worked with Oxy, and we drew better. Because Ox did what I told him to do. Where Brody was set in his ways, Ox was humble and just wanted to get along. So all he did was tell me what he wanted, I told him what he wanted to do, and he did it to the best of his ability. Then I worked for him 4 weeks in a row, and Geigel couldn't stand it. I said, I'm working to what Oxy can do. So that's what Geigel was 63 years old. We shot an angle. I ripped all his clothes off on me. And I was having an I Quit match with, with Ox. So I just beat him in the I Quit match.
Yeah.
And I ripped all Geigel's clothes off of him and everything. So me and Geigel started a feud.
What do you mean you couldn't stand it? Like he wanted in on the action, couldn't stand it, or he just didn't like what he was seeing?
He just thought the matches weren't very good.
Oh, really?
And I said, well, Bob, he's doing the best he can. All he's got to do is talk, be the Ox, and do what I tell him to do. And we did that, and we outdrew Brody. And so
you didn't like that either.
No, Geigel he would rather lose money but have good matches, which is why I went out of business.
Yeah, I mean, surely you thought the matches were all right, right?
Well, it was Ox was over. Everybody knew who Ox was. All you got to do with Ox is let him talk, bounce off of him, be a chicken shit away from him.
So was it any different with Bruiser? What did Bruiser think of your matches with him?
Well, Brody would.
No, Dick the Bruiser. This guy said you had a feud with him with Dick the Bruiser.
No.
Or maybe he was just saying that he watched.
Yeah, he was.
He just watched it.
Yeah,
okay.
When he was in that area, he got Bruiser's tape and he got AWA.
I got you. All right, yeah. What was Ox like as a person? I mean, he was a nice guy. Wasn't he a cool guy?
He was just nothing but fun.
Yeah.
He was always singing, always in a good mood. One night I was up there. See, we lived in Atlanta. We lived at Miss T's, Delilah Bell's place with all the boys. And then Ox was upstairs, and he was with his old lady up there, and I heard the bed squeaking. So I taped it. And all of a sudden she's going, Ox! Ox! And I put it to him in the van the next day.
That's awesome. Any background on him? What was he before? Anything like
Oxy?
How did he get in? Like, yeah, did he have a real job ever? Like a real name, a real person?
He's been in the business a long time. He had a different look. He had hair. He was Doug Baker. And that was his real name. But he was from I can't think of it right now. But he'd been in the business a long time. And I met him when he was working for Bruiser. I remember I was a sophomore in college driving somewhere on the interstate. All of a sudden, Handsome Johnny, they were going to do interviews in Chicago. Handsome Johnny Star was with Ox Baker, and they had the window down. And I yelled at Oxy and tried to catch up to him and give him, he put his arm out like.
But he didn't know you at that time?
Oh, hell no. I was a mark. I was fucking awesome. Like 19 years old, right?
Oh, that was great.
And there was Foxy Oxy and Handsome Johnny Star. Handsome, the irresistible Johnny Star, John Davis from Greenfield, Indiana. And
was he really?
Oh, yeah. He took Bobby Heenan's place. And Bobby Heenan went to Atlanta. Then after he was on Atlanta, working for Turner, then he went up and got that job with Minneapolis and Bongani. He was there for years until Vince rated him. He didn't rate him. He just offered him so much guaranteed money than anybody else could. And if you're working at McDonald's and you're making $10 an hour, all of a sudden the guy says, "I'll pay you $30 an hour if you come over here." Well, you're damn right you're going to go. It was damn right. So me and Gene went there, and Bobby Heenan went there. A lot of guys from each territory, they all made so much money working for WWE. What happens was, if you were on the gravy train with WWE, you made more money in a couple of years if you could do your whole lifetime working like the old territories.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that meant probably 70 to 80% of the guys that were working, they had to go get a real job because the territories were going out of business real fast.
Right.
Because WWE had such a promotion. And they would, if you had, at the time, when you go, it wasn't like now where they pay you to have wrestling on TV. Then you put your tape on there like an infomercial. But Vince would go in there, and if you were in a certain station, he could go right in there and offer the guy more money, and you'd be out of business. He just put his TV on, which happened in a lot of places. But that's the way it is in the business world. It's either Coke, Pepsi, or RC, or whatever kind of cola there is.
Hey, thanks for the question, Bill. What was his name? Bill Walkowitz. I think that's the only email we got. Email us, thelivestudios@gmail.com. thelivestudios@gmail.com. You've been talking to that microphone, Rip?
I think so.
Supposed to be right in there. I don't know if,
Well, if I did so much, it'd fall over and I miss it. Maybe the Weasel's not going to call us anymore. I hope he don't.
Maybe I should get you a chair on wheels.
Well, I can't go in much more. My knees don't work. Neuropathied feet sitting right here.
If there's any of these I don't know
about. Okay. Silence 1, silence 2, silence 3,
silence
4.
Piss on them.
Yeah, piss on them. Okay. We can piss on them.
We only got about 5 minutes left anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I always want to know about Memphis. You're not weren't there a bunch. Yeah, shake your head.
Yeah, we can.
Always went Memphis, baby.
No, well, if that's all you saw, I guess.
Memphis. This Vancouver?
Yeah.
I don't know if I know anything about Vancouver.
Does that mean you want to know?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about. Give us about 5 minutes on Vancouver,
well,
Rick.
Vancouver
or less.
Vancouver used to be a territory. It was run by Gene Kaniski and it was taken over by Al Tomko. I just think in Canada you had Vancouver was a territory, Calgary was a territory, and you had the Maritimes was a territory, Montreal was a territory. So that's the territories that were in Canada. Now, if you were Canadian, it was a big deal to come to America because you had to have working papers. So they didn't. A lot of the guys, the major stars of Canada, would work for Stu Hart, and in the summertime they'd want to get away because they'd seen their act, so they'd go work for Dupre in America. And Stu was on TSN, which was like the TBS of Canada. So our Friday night shows, they'd have a 3-hour block like we would have on Raw now, but it would be all wrestling. So everybody in the whole in Canada would see the Calgary. If you were on Calgary, you were over. So, but anyway, in Vancouver, for a while, Don Owens, they ran Vancouver every Monday night. So, and then they would make a TV tape out of that. So, like, I was working in Portland, so it'd be like me, Buddy Rose, Piper, Rick Martel, the Bushwhackers. We'd either fly in or they'd get a couple vans and drive up and work TV and like a spot show the next day and then drive on back. And then Don Owens was like a business partner with Gene Kaniski. But it was good. It was like sort of a big time thing. So you're working this territory, but you're going into another territory and they're bringing you in. So it was neat. So you got to meet a lot of new guys. A lot of old guys. You might meet them 10 years later at some other territory.
I hear Don Owens all the time, and I don't think I know Don.
Well,
he Portland too.
Yeah, he was the owner of Portland, and his dad was the owner. And I think his dad was the owner before that.
Did he ever wrestle?
No, he was this promoter. Started for 60 years, pretty much. They had a promotion, and then he quit like 1990, 91, 92, whatever. And then he for years he'd have a live Saturday night show at 8 o'clock. It would be on from like 8 to 10, and then usually you never get to see a main event finish if you go off the air. Oh, wish you could have been here, blah blah blah. And then they did something. I think it was either Tim Brooksy doing something on TV. I think he puked on live TV, so then they put it on a delay. And then Buddy Rose burned Piper's kilt in the building, and then they saw it. And then the fire marshal, it was against some law, so they got their hands spanked on that. Too.
Against some law.
Some law, just because you set a guy's kilt on fire, what the hell, right?
Be a problem.
But what's so funny is Roddy Piper, then he left there and he went to North Carolina, and then he was back to being a heel. So Piper was the biggest babyface they ever had in Portland. Yeah. And him against Buddy Rose was nothing but money. And Piper come in as a heel, but you couldn't get over Buddy. He was just there. Hell, he was there like 9 years as a heel. And they made the whole territory around him. And he wasn't heavy. He was like, he weighed about 230. But hell, he could beat me in a 40-yard dash. He could tip up. He could do one-arm push-ups. He was like a freak.
You guys go racing a lot?
Yeah, because he could beat me. But I was smart enough then, after I beat Randy Savage, and Randy get mad, I'd always let Buddy win.
I haven't done a lot of 40-yard dash competitions in my life, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I guess if you was a football player, you would have. You had to.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
What'd you think of today's episode, Rip? I know you're really hot that I took the first 30 minutes and just made it my show, and
that was great.
Really pissed you off. But I hope hope you forgive me and we can move on and get to episode 40.
Well, we might not. Who knows? I just know the Weasel kept calling.
We got T Weasel calling in. We got him getting married soon.
He wanted everybody to know that he had lost his billfold. He had lost his wallet.
But he was working on podcast today. The intro music.
Like he had $3 in his billfold, but all of a sudden, no, he's got thousands of dollars in his billfold.
I can't wait for that thing to come out, man. That is going to be so great. What else? There was something else I was just going to say. Gosh. Oh, Dr. Tom. Did you watch part 2 of Dr. Tom? We got to plug some of our own shit here.
Yeah.
Dr. Tom part 2 is out. If you've not seen it, go watch it, baby. We've got a lot of good feedback on that. Not a lot of views yet. A lot of good feedback. We do have part 3. I got about 30 minutes left of that, Rip. So I got another part to put out. We're milking that thing as long as we can. Don't forget to go get Rip's book here. Amazon.com. Right now, the book on pro wrestling, Lessons from Rip Rogers. This would make one hell of a Christmas gift, don't you think, Rip?
It'd be the greatest Christmas present this Christmas.
I think it would. We can't go, get out of here. I got 2 things.
Is that Chili's girlfriend? Huh?
Yeah.
It was Chili's
and then look at this, Rip. Look what I think I got here.
The king shaking his head.
Oh, wait, hold on. Mike is muted while the video is playing.
Okay. So
I don't want that muted. I don't know. Anyway, now say it. The king shaking his head.
The king was shaking his head. The king was shaking his head.
The king was shaking his head. Ever.
You think Manny's going to call again?
Just for you,
he
Rip.
Lost his wallet,
Just for you. I got something coming up here. Maybe.
Is it going to be a picture of my dad and you thought it would? Oh, that's nice music.
This is
the greatest music ever.
Your favorite music.
Yes, it is.
Look at that camera, though. Remember?
Okay, look at that camera. But I guess if somebody would buy me some Mexican food, then
well, that's not this band. This is a new band.
Well, I know that.
You threw the other band under the bus.
Then I could not get rid of this.
Well, then you could get rid of this.
Then we can listen to them again.
Wrestling with Rip Rogers. Hey, we're at 1,965 subscribers. We need to get 2,000 to do some dangerous drugs, baby. At 2,000. Dangerous drugs to 2,000. Go subscribe. Join the membership deal. Every Friday, live, noon, Q&A. We got all kinds of shit going here at Lilo Studios, Rip.
I know. This girl took Manny's billfold. Escape though.
You know how to end this thing.